Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to the African Messenger. Thank you again for joining us one more time on an important day, a day that has sent us out to kind of look around and try to figure out what's the best thing out there, the thing, some of the topics that we kind of need to have a conversation about. Obviously, there's been a lot of topics that have been coming, but it's always good to be a little bit more picky about the kind of topics we want to talk about. Unfortunately, today we want it's not a topic that we want to talk about that we will be able to talk about, but the topic that we'll be talking about is as important as the rest of the topics, and hopefully that as we get time to spend here, we'll be able to bring those to you live from the African Messenger Studios. Um, I want to thank you for coming, for participating, for being a part of this, for everybody who's been sending out emails, encouragement. Thank you again. And for everybody who's been sending out topics. I mean, we love these. We want them to continue coming. We encourage you to continue sending to that. I want to thank David for taking the time and for having kind of like encourage us to have a topic that will be discussed, part of what will be discussed today, unfortunately tied to an event that has taken place. But first of all, we want to thank our sponsors, U.S. Bank, Prilo Circle, TC, and Johnny Cafe for for continuing to support us. It's really, really important what you're doing, and we thank you so much. And I wanna thank my friend Wambui for Spices of Africa for the work you're doing, and I thank you again for your support and collaboration. And we look forward to continue working together for the well-being of the community. And the topic that I really want to talk about today is based on what has happened in Burundi. I don't know if uh, people have been able to see this or hear about it. If you haven't, you can always kind of like search around and be able to see it if you go to our website www.theafricanmessenger.org. You'll be able to see that yesterday there was a massacre that took place in the rural area of the country, and 36 people lost their lives there. From what we've heard is that it's a revenge type of massacre where one group of rebels that's been was initially part of the government but has kind of decided to stay away from government for political purposes and reason, attack a bar where there's a lot of people were there, and the bar just happened to belong to one of the political parties. And excuse me, that's not as important as well, that's as important as what we're talking about. And the topic today is pretty much killing of one another for political reasons. Because my first reaction to that, I was like, do these people even know what they are doing, committing these massacres, or they're just executing orders that they have no idea where these orders are coming from? And maybe it feels like people are being brainwashed to believe in what they are told, and they just keep on going and carrying out these massacres without really thinking twice, or even thinking twice. But I just wanted to open it up as a wider discussion for our community, really, throughout the world and also on the continental Africa. For people to start thinking and try to understand why these crimes and these massacres are taking place, because it's really, really unfortunate when there's a little bit of peace. People wanted to see peace from all these years after decades of like war that have really devastated many African countries. I mean, and there's some of them continue. But you have people who are continuing to kill each other for sometimes for no reason. I could understand as people committed it because they were forced to do that, or they just it's hard to comprehend. I can't not understand why. I understand the whole thing about respecting the order and taking orders from your superiors and going and executing the order. But I think there's also that human side of us that we kind of start to need go back to and try to understand. It's like, why are we human at the same time? If you're being told to go and execute people at a bar, I'm sure these rebels they didn't even know the people they were going to execute. They just went to execute an order because they were told to go and do so. But my only thing is like, what is in there in killing your fellow brothers and sisters? or killing somebody you don't even know. You had women there, you had maybe young people there, and some of them had no idea. We're not politically involved. We're just there to have a good time, and sharing some music, sharing something to eat, something to drink with other people. But then here comes a bunch of people just shooting around and killing people, who have maybe absolutely no idea, who would just decide. It's just heartbreaking and hard to comprehend that somebody would be going somewhere to a club somewhere there, and suddenly somebody comes politically motivated with whom you have no idea, and who comes to kill really people, just because they are going to a bar that belongs to a person who's affiliated with the other party, and you go around shooting and killing 30 something people. Those are not just simple people. Those are families that are being affected. This craziness, this insanity, it has to stop. I mean, I cannot understand how development would ever come about when people, and this at fault, as it's not as much about the people who executed the order. It's more about the people who gave the orders. Really, it's one thing to be against the government, or one thing to be against the other army, as the people would refer to one another, and it's another thing to be against the people just because they happen to be in a location where that place it belongs to somebody who belongs to a party that you're against with, and you go about killing. I mean, those are like, somebody's wife, somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's uncle. You can see 36 families. I mean, people, it's like 36 families. That's a lot. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's hard to understand. It's really extremely hard to understand. I cannot comprehend it. I cannot understand it. I choose not to understand it. And I choose to believe that it's just I don't know if it's ignorance or what it is. But it's just so. I mean, it's hard. I don't even think animals do that. Animal go hunting for other animals because they're hungry, or because they want to eat them. It's like us, we go hunting, or like we get food to eat. The animals do that because they want to eat it. Because I don't understand how somebody would go about killing people with whom they have no beef, they have no argument, they have never made with. They just go killing people. I mean, is it that hard to tell the superior that, look, I am not going to execute that order? Or you go around. I mean, I'm really encouraging this. You defect to go. You tell those people, look, this is what's gonna happen tonight. You need not to be here. I understand the risks that are involved with it, but it's common sense. And until we learn to love one another, to learn to understand that protecting the innocent is very important. To reason with the people who are giving these orders, and I'm talking about from higher ranks up down. This is crazy. It's madness. It's ridiculous. It should not have a part in the community. And if there's any community out there that is helping to hide people who are committing these crimes, bring them to light. I mean, give them forth. These people, they belong somewhere else. They belong not in this world. We should not be doing this, especially for a continent that's been struggling, a continent that's trying to come up and catch up with the rest of the world. That continent is really, really far away as far as development is. Yes, the continent's coming up, countries are catching up slowly, but it's a long ways. And until there's peace, there's not going to be any progress. Until people are behaving like animals, then it's not going to be any progress. We need to understand and to stop this. And another thing is I also fault the people. The people in specific places, in specific villages, in specific cities. You cannot continue to provide shelters to people who are committing crimes and hope for things to go well. It's just not gonna happen. I am not supporting anybody in any country, in any place, rebels, government. I don't care what it is. What people have to understand, and the government and rebels and everybody else, is that the people need peace. People need peace. They need long-lasting peace. They need cultivating love. If you have beefs, you have arguments, you have things. There are many ways to to be able to resolve those without resulting to violence. See, violence doesn't, it does not solve anything. What violence does is destroying. The whole thing about revenge is okay, you revenge your side of death. Now, the government may take action to say, okay, you killed 36 people, we're good. We're going to go hunting after you. We'll hunt anybody who's supporting you. And then they kill. They kill whatever, 50, 100. And guess what? You're going to think about doing the same thing tomorrow. And then when does it end? Hasn't enough blood been shed on the continent for many countries? Haven't people cried enough? People want peace. They want peace. People want to see progress. People want to see development. And these are the very important things. These are the foundation of what we're trying to do. If development is ever going to come, as the people in positions of power, and I'm talking government, I'm talking opposition parties, I'm talking everywhere, they have to understand that peace is not going to come by revenging. Peace is not going to come by violence. Peace is not going to come just because you want to overthrow this government and then take over and then you think you're going to bring peace. No, as long as the idea of revenge keep coming, you know, that when when your loved one, or when your soldiers, or when your men are killed or something, then you go on killing. Or when you overthrow the government and somebody else, instead of coming to build together and build long lasting peace for development, they all they're thinking about is how can I overthrow that one? How can I commit a coup d'etat? Take this one off so I can put myself to power. As long as the mindset is that way, development will never come and peace will never come, because people will continue to think about that. It is time people stop thinking that. We need to stop living like animals, thinking about revenge, thinking about hurting one another, thinking about really destruction is what seems to be in our mind all the time. It's gotta end at some point. You need to stop all these things. Think about how to develop, to encourage development, to bring about long lasting peace, to give good advice, and to even disobey orders, really, if those orders are against common sense, which is do not kill people who haven't gotten anything against you. Even people who've got something against you, you can have a conversation with them, help them understand, help them see things in the right way, fight a good battle without using violence. There's been a lot of violence, there's been a lot of bloodshed. People are tired, and this is what the leaders on the African continent have to understand. People are tired of all the wars. People are tired of all the bloodshed. People are tired of all these things that have taken place. It is about time that stops. It's about time it stops. The whole thing about greed and everybody wanting to be the president, everybody wanting to be in charge. Come on. We all know there can only be one president in any country. We all know there could be one administration in any given country. Now, if everybody wants to be that, this is a cycle that will continue back and forth every single year after year. People will die and so on and so forth. But when does it end? It is about time people start thinking. Bring your common sense together, sit down together, think, and think harder about how you are going to help develop the continent. It is time to stop killing people, innocent people, for no reason, for only greedy reasons. And it is time for those people who are executing this order to start thinking for yourselves. You know, take time, sit down and think. Really, I like a movie, the Born Supremacy, or the Born trilogy. There's a sequence where the one of the assassin asks the other, "Do you even know why you have to kill me?" I mean, that's a good question to ask. Do you even know why you have to kill the people that they're sending you to kill? They send you out there and say, you know, you somebody so and so. You will see somebody coming out of a superstore, in a grocery store. He looks like this. He drives this kind of car. Drive by, shoot him, and kill him. I know doctors who've been killed just like that because somebody in power did not like them, because they become a threat to their position of power, and so they just send somebody to kill. And this person will just go execute the order without asking a question. You've just killed how many years of education? 20 something years, sometimes 35 years of education. That's a lot to develop a country that you've just brought the country back. In a blink, you've killed years of experience and education and development and strength. And the same thing with this. You kill young men and women who are the backbone of any economy, the future of any country. What are you thinking? It's about time we start thinking. It's about time we start helping the people understand the people. Think. It's about time the leaders wake up from their craziness and greed and understand that you cannot be in power forever. That you need to share. That you need to stop all the thing about revenge and we're gonna get him and got you, things like that. Put those things to rest. People have to sit down together, have a conversation, and make things happen. People have cried enough. They need peace. They need progress. They need prosperity. They need to move on, go forward with their lives. And I don't think the current mindset is going to bring those things to the continent. It's always going to be a little bit of development here. Somebody comes in and ruins everything for everybody. Why does it have to be that? It is about time people wake up. Everybody, educated, uneducated, old, the young, and women, men, everybody sit down together and say, this is for the future of our communities, this is for the future of our people, it's for the future of our children, it's for the future of our countries. We need to sit down, have this conversation is very important. And more importantly, we need to stop using violence for everything because violence does not solve everything. What violence does is it kills everything. I thank you again for tuning in to the African Messenger. Please, if you have any suggestion, send them to us. We're welcoming all ideas. We're welcoming all comments that you'll be sending to us. And we look forward to next time. Thank you so much and have a good afternoon. From the African Messenger Studio, my name is Mr. Gloria Gazao saying peace to you. And please keep thinking about this. Keep thinking about good ideas. Keep thinking about our people because it's very, very important. Thank you and have a good afternoon.